Welcome to the Crownsmen Show, everyone. I am one of your hosts, Jerrod Downey. We've got Mr. Roy Slack on the show. We've got Rory Bamford in the producer chair. We have Devin Kavanaugh and Gowdy Molina is. What are you doing here today, Gowdy?
Being awesome.
Being awesome.
Without me, there is no show. Just kidding.
You didn't have to say just kidding.
That's
so
for sure.
Yeah, she ruined the joke with just kidding. She copped out on it.
Yeah, you don't get scared, Gowdy. Since when are you scared? We're going to discuss some heavy industry. We're going to keep it clean. We always do. Let's start drinking some beer and forget that rule. Roy, what do you got? This is brought to you by Cranky Old Men Drinking Beer. We get paid thousands of dollars to just say their name every time in the show.
And you know what, Jerrod? I just want to comment on that. Is that just the privilege of talking with you gentlemen on this show is worth every dollar that you're actually going to get from Cranky Old Men Drinking Beer.
I feel like I'm going to have to file that under the collections
Rory,
that I'm having.
You talk to our accounting department, please, Rory.
Yeah,
I think with an issue.
Lloyd will be on this.
Da beer of da day. This is Halo from Steamworks.
In the purple can.
Yeah, and it is what's popular these days are session beers, and this is a session IPA, and what they mean by it's about half of the alcohol content of a regular beer or regular IPA, so it's a lighter version. What Steamworks calls it is the angelic. What do they call it there? They've got it in there, the angelic cousin of an IPA. So we're going to see. Maybe it's a good breakfast beer for you guys. It's early there.
Lunch now.
Yes.
Lunch, a brunch beer.
IPA's angelic little sibling.
Lunch.
Well, I hate to start right off the bat, but I can guarantee you, if they've lost 2% of the alcohol, we're losing 2% in the rating. For me. I literally just said, I'm ready for a beer, and now Roy's got us drinking.
Chick beer?
You said it. You said it. And it's a small can, too.
You were thinking it.
It's just a flavored water. Interesting.
You have absolutely no idea how bad I feel about that, Jerrod.
Wow, Roy, you're coming in a little hostile today. Let's just calm down, everyone. I don't need to be like that. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we're trying this, but we're not rating until the end of the show.
Stay watching, everybody.
So
It's better at the end.
we wouldn't be drinking this if Rory hadn't have drank. You drank one by accident, didn't you?
Twice. He's done it twice.
Yeah. I've got a whole bunch I got some juice that I got to ship out to Roy. Thankfully, the postal strike has kiboshed our ease of shipping, so now I'm going to be going around today looking for box shipping. Have you ever shipped with like UPS or anything, Roy?
Yep.
Do they have like flat rate boxes too? I think they do.
Yep.
Maybe. Good.
Only they cost about 4 times as much.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Which might be one reason why Canada Post is in so much financial trouble,
Definitely.
because they are a good deal.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you go in there and you're like, really? I can ship this all the way across the country for $30? Great.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. But that's why we have subsidies. That's why we are. That makes us strong as a nation.
Oh, Roy's going political. Let's go.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it makes us strong, and we need to take advantage of that good shipping. Just we can't this week.
Okay, well, let's double down on it though. Apparently we're talking about getting we have to. It's not the Iron Dome, it's the Golden Dome. I don't even want to get into it on this episode because I want to know more about it before I do. That sounds like a crazy thing the U.S. is about to do, though. Damn.
It must be similar to what is it? Wait, no, I forgot the dome.
It's the Iron Dome.
Israel.
Reagan had the Star Wars. Was it Reagan? Which president had the Star Wars, or they had some name for it, which never got off the ground. No pun intended.
I think the Golden Dome though is marquee.
Would it? It wouldn't be Tesla, would it? That would be a big shock.
It should be Tesla. It'd probably be better. What is
Lockheed Martin?
Lockheed Martin. That's what. Yeah.
Golden Dome for America.
Yeah, missile defense system. Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh yes.
Now you
That's
know.
what we want.
Yeah, let's
And
go.
Canada's coming in too. We're all going to be together again.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
So how do we get into politics? We went
This is
from
not politics. This is defense.
No.
Different.
No.
This is defense.
This is defense, Roy. We're defending ourselves.
Because I want to get into the technology of it at some point.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Orica Digital Solutions. Blast IQ Underground provides quality control and improved underground drill and blast productivity for superior blast outcomes. Effectively manage the underground blasting process from planning to post-blast analysis with user-friendly reporting, analytics, and information management. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's heavy industry tour. Are you facing the challenges of CO2 shortages in your construction projects? Secure your CO2 supply today with Tomco Systems, the pioneers in CO2 equipment solutions. With over 45 years of experience, Tomco transforms challenges into solutions, offering a comprehensive range of CO2 products for water treatment, storage, and transportation. Tomco Systems' patented CO2-based water treatment and wastewater treatment solutions have gained global recognition for their efficient and precise pH control systems. Whether you need pH reduction for municipal process treatment or industrial wastewater, their line of carbonic acid storage and feed products will provide you with 95% or greater efficiency in reaching your target pH. Don't let shortages slow you down. Visit tomcosystems.com to learn more. Join us in the depths of the mining world, where global leaders and industry giants converge to shape the future of mining. From groundbreaking technologies, advanced machinery, revolutionary safety measures, to sustainable initiatives. This is the voice of mining. This is Mining Now. Showcase your company to millions worldwide. Book your episode now. Visit crownsmen.com.
First they were talking about building the wall. Now they're talking about defense.
Well, if you build walls, you got to put a roof on the wall. That's the way it goes.
More politics than I want to talk about when I'm drinking beer.
Oh, it always goes. Anyway,
That's a great segue, though, Roy, because I actually want to talk about how Lenny and the Toronto Maple Leafs are the same.
Oh,
that was
Rory,
one of my topics.
Yes.
Really? You're going to start
That's
cheering?
so good. That was such a good one.
Because they both absolutely stink.
Yeah, they blew it.
So let me tell you,
What is
I
happening?
have a blog on the website which
Good.
basically says that people that boo their own team
Yeah.
don't deserve beer. Now, there's a lot more involved in the blog, but
Where
a bit more?
Where is the blog? Where is it living on?
Yeah.
it's on the website. It's about I
What's
think
the
the
website?
name of the blog is The Fans Demand It. It's on the website.
It's Cranky Old Men Drinking Beer, everybody, and just look up, what is it? What was the blog name, though?
The blog name, I think, is called The Fans Demand It.
The Fans Demand It. We'll link to that. We got a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah. But
there it
basically, so the context is, I'm a long-term Leafs fan, and I can complain about how they played. I can, the next morning, and I know about as much about hockey as most of the analysts on TV do, which is next to nothing. But my point is, if you're a fan, you don't boo your team. You don't burn the jersey. I mean, they had a great season. They got through round one. They had a couple of bad games, and I was disappointed and frustrated and disgusted. But I'm not going to go burn a jersey, and I'm not going to boo my team.
Roy, just to add to it, how bad they did is like the Canucks in the last 9 years have still won more playoff rounds than the Leafs.
Oh,
True
the
story.
Sabres have too.
Well, you know what?
Okay,
and
so
so I'm
that's
glad
too
you
far.
brought that up about the Canucks because, I thought about the Leafs fans and what they were doing
Yeah.
when they lost. And I said,
Are you
well,
going to bring this again?
that's World
okay.
Cup, right? That's crazy. That's not hockey. And then I thought about 2011 in Vancouver?
Oh, yes, it was.
Cars burnt, $4 million damage. There was a fatality. 150 people injured, 890 charges
die?
laid. It was crazy.
They but those weren't real fans. They just happened to all be wearing the jerseys. But that was
Yeah, exactly.
I remember. Oh, there's me.
Jerrod's in the back left there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All guy.
yeah.
I remember. Yeah, do you remember
Jerrod
the
is saying
picture?
it's not on your record if there's no conviction, right?
That is exactly right, actually.
100%.
Do you remember the picture of the couple kissing in the street? Do you remember that one?
Absolutely.
And then once you actually read the
Adorable.
story, it was hilarious because they were not kissing at all. She had been trampled, and he was like picking her up, being like, "Are you okay?"
CPR.
But the photographer captured it at the right time, so it looked like this romantic, beautiful thing in the middle of a war zone.
And they're living happily ever after now, too, so it's great.
Really? You did a follow-up on that story?
So I'm cheering for the Oilers.
It's so much funnier when you know the context.
That's the Beatles. The Beatles' White Album. I don't know if you know the Beatles' White Album. There's a song called "Why Don't We Do It in the Road." Well, no one will be watching us. Why don't we do it in the road? Anyway, I digress.
People were
Roy's
crazy back
rock
then.
trivia is it's undialed. Everything speaks through song.
I just know
If you
political
go
stuff.
to the unnamed website, you'll see behind the beer pictures, a lot of the beer pictures have album covers as the background of the photos.
Rory, we've planned our whole like children's college funds around this. So can you please say the website?
So we're going to talk retirement now? That's my topic again.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's talk some retirement. Let's talk.
Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graymond's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com. Attention builders, we've got everything you need to know about the grit and grind of the construction world in one show. The Construction Show is where you can share your expert techniques and strategies to help keep the crew strong and construction sites secure. From foundational tips, industry trends, safety strategies to advanced equipment and machinery. Be part of the voice of construction. Book your episode and showcase your company to millions worldwide. Visit crownsmen.com.
But Rory, I feel like you haven't gone first a couple times.
Who?
Rory, Mr. Ben.
Oh, me? Oh, well, I could jump into mine. I have some comments on both your topics because the ads, I do read the notes sometimes. Okay, so I'll get into those after. Okay, my topic. This is on the mining side, and then we'll get into retirement, obviously, and sleep. So the book that I've been reading for a while, Collapse. I've referenced it before. There is a couple pages talking about, it was talking about how, like, Chevron, I think I mentioned it previously, they actually, like, went kind of, like, hardcore on, like, the environmental side on one of their operations in one of these islands. I think it was, like, somewhere close to Australia. And, but what was interesting is they have essentially kind of got more extreme on, like, managing the environment. And this company in Montana, and this was a while back. So actually, I was curious. So Roy, the CEO with Stillwater Mining Company, he was Bill Nettles. Are you familiar with him, or did you ever meet Bill?
I am familiar with him, but I wouldn't say I know him.
Okay. So it was interesting because instead of doing. There was a mine that was supposed to go in, or they were trying to put in up by Kamloops, and it was managed pretty poorly. The environmentalists basically got a hold of it, and it kind of showed like how bad something could go with a project like it was Ajax, the Ajax mine. Jerrod will be familiar with it. Roy, you might be too.
Yeah.
But the issue is that it was right up above the town. But they were doing things like doing dry stack tailing, so you didn't have like the water risk like above the town. But what Bill and like what Stillwater did is they actually, when I was looking at it, I thought it was interesting because they said they entered into good neighbor agreements with local environmental groups. So they actually gave money to the groups, and I'm reading directly from the book, to allow the groups free access to their mining area. They also requested environmental organization Trout Unlimited, to the latter's astonishment, to monitor the effects of their mines on local trout population. And as a big fisherman, or I'm not a big fisherman, but becoming a fan of fishing the last couple of years.
Wait, which is it?
What do you read about it or what? Watch it on TV?
About it. No,
Can you
but
be
I
a
do
fan
actually
of
fish.
fishing?
But I
Rory,
actually
Rory,
fish.
this is only 3.5, so
I don't want it, man.
Let's go straight.
I had
I
to
was
start
fishing with
early.
Eliana in a little pool,
Oh.
like a kiddie pool with the plastic
a little
fish.
plastic fish with a little
that's
thing
what
to
he was
open the
doing.
mouth of the bobber.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I cheer those fishermen on. I'm a real fan.
Yeah, exactly. The okay, but you guys really derailed my rant there.
I think that's your fault.
Yeah, it was you. That
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, as a big Fisher fan, so they actually invited people to come on site. Jared, stop it. But the difference with this one is for their mine, they had basically they looked at it and they had the primary deposit for platinum and palladium.
Palladium.
And palladium, thank you.
Rory's a big Palladium fan, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah. Palladium is next to fishing. It's one of my favorite things.
Exactly. Great for car manufacturing. And it was the biggest outside of South Africa. So this site though had about 100 years, they think, of deposit. So what they did is they went in and set up way before and started bringing on the environmentalists to basically monitor. And I was like, that model would be, you could see that benefiting some of these projects. Like instead of waiting until you've got in Canada, you've got First Nations groups and that, bring them on and start talking to them right away. Bring them on as a partnership. So when you go to the government with this project, you can get way ahead of it because then they're going to feel appreciated that you're wanting to manage the effects. And then realistically, if you have that open dialogue going, you're going to be able to get suggestions from them because in reality, most people do know that countries strive on these well-paying jobs, these big projects. So I thought that was a really good approach that probably should be used more. And we've talked about the regulations and the environmental side of it before. But I'm like, man, that would be just getting ahead of it. But it comes with a caveat. This project has a 100-year lifespan potentially or more. Whereas if you're trying to do these projects where it's only saying 10, 15, 20, these people are just trying to get in there to start extracting. And miners, in a sense, have been more classed along with robber barons in a sense. They'll go in, they'll pillage the land, and they'll get out. And that is something that needs to be changed. And I thought this model that Stillwater used in Montana, I was like, that's a pretty smart approach.
There is something though, Rory, that you kind of touched on, but maybe worth clarifying is they actually funded the groups. This goes back to it always sucks to now bring up Jack Welch because now the reputation is definitely tarnished. But there's still truth to things he said. Is that you got to reward people in the soul and in the wallet, and it's not enough. I think where the genius of it is they engaged the groups, but then they also started paying.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a big difference because if you go to, let's say, an indigenous group and you're just starting the talks, so you basically are just hoping that your communication is strong enough to build something. But if you start investing right away, that will change the dynamic. Money changes. Roy, you just said to me actually at an event the other day that some people, and it's been rattling in my head ever since you said it, is when you talk about money, some people automatically think that you're trying to get something from them. That's their just organic reaction. But there is the reverse, is when you right away start investing and actually back up what you're saying by money right off the bat, it has the reverse effect. They go, okay, they're actually serious about this. Because people don't just hand over money for no reason. People will yap for no reason.
Yeah.
Without good intent. Once the money starts going, there's a different it's taken seriously at a different level.
Yeah, if you offer something and you tell them the price, it changes the dynamic quite quickly. based
Well,
on
Rory, there's a few things. First of all, Stillwater's a big company, and a property with 100-year mine life. You're right. There's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
The consultation you talked about, most groups do that now. But what I found interesting, when we often talk about the concept of total sustainable mining, and it's a program in Canada that mining groups sign up to, but it is self-governing, self-reporting. So even if you hire a consultant to evaluate your sustainability programs, you're still paying that group. So how independent is it? So what I found interesting about what you said is what Stillwater has done is they've gone to what we call NGOs, external groups, and said, open door policy, totally transparent. So they become their validators as opposed to a consultant you're paying for. And that's risky in one hand, because if you've got an extremist group, who are intent on not having mining there, it's very easy for them to shut it down. But if you work together, like you said, in consultation, you work together to figure out the best way to do everything, then it can be a very effective method. The second point I'll make, I'll just be quick on this, is 100-year mine life is great. Most of the times you're looking at maybe a 10-year mine life, but most mines, their mine life extends by another 10, 15, 20 years because that initial exploration that the feasibility is based on can't map the full ore body, or doesn't map the full ore body. So the overall mine life quite possibly can be in the feasibility 10 years, and you've got a plan on that. But the reality is you're hoping that the ore body will extend to depth, will be a much longer mine life.
Like Highland Valley Copper out here and New Gold.
There are many examples, yeah.
Rory, do you like fishing?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a catch and release guy.
I don't get it. I don't get how people enjoy that. I just don't.
Fishing?
Fishing.
It's one of those things,
Tackle boxes annoy me.
If you are a fisherman or a fisher person, trying to be politically correct, if you're a fisher person, then no explanation is necessary. If you're not, then no explanation will do it.
That's true. Yeah. I used to fish as a kid, like in a creek, catching trout. But even then, I was okay. But they're just annoying. Everything about it's annoying.
What's the old joke go? The two golfers on the course in the pouring rain, and they look out on the lake and they say, "Look at those two idiots out there fishing."
Okay, touche. Okay, so
I've literally golfed when the hole has filled up with rain, because it's just like in Surrey, you're gonna have like a downpour.
we did that.
Shack.
Didn't we do that for one of our bachelor parties, right?
Yeah, it was mine. We were like literally trying to golf, and there was lakes and rivers.
Hazelmere Golf Course. Yeah.
Just soaked.
It was not 3.5%.
Golfing for a bachelor party. You're a pretty wild bunch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we finished off. Okay, so moving on. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, Rory. Okay, so my topic. Okay, so Rory, is your topic really about retirement?
I wanted to mention something. We talked about it last time, and I saw a clip from, is it Mr. Wonderful?
Oh yeah,
Kevin O'Leary. And he made a statement. He said to have a comfortable retirement, you should have $5 million in the bank. And, when you look at the statistics, what is it? 1% of the Canadian population has a net worth of 5 million or more. I don't know what the percentage is, but
1% does. Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, 1 or 1.5% or something like that. So if you look at it in terms of a family, but to make that statement, there it is. Yeah, how to retire comfortably, have $5 million in the bank. Well, easy for O'Leary to say,
It's the minimum. I love that part. It's the minimum.
So there's the plan. So there's your retirement plan.
So, but is he, sorry, for the full context, is he saying that because life is so expensive now, was there any context to it? Or is he
The
just
context
saying don't
is
think of poor?
you put the $5 million, you make 5% interest on it or 6% interest on it per year, which means you're bringing in 250,000. You pay $100,000 of tax on that or more, or 125, whatever. So you've got a revenue stream of 120,000 a year after
Roy.
tax to live comfortably on.
If you make interest, I got to look this up because I think actually, like in that case, if you made $250K in interest, I think you'd actually pay a lot less tax.
I love that. Can I just stop for a second? I love that Rory has got 1 point, and then Rory just goes, okay, so wait, how do the numbers work on that? Rory, that's not the point. He shouldn't have said that.
I know, but I want to look it up.
So, Rory, no, that's not the point
Sorry,
that Rory's
Roy.
making. But just following Rory's train of thought. So, if you did $5 million,
The first million is the hardest, is what they say. So
right?
And Munger says the first 100,000, he's like, scrape, crawl, beg.
Yeah, but he's talking about what, 1965?
True. It's not the same anymore.
When was Munger born? He was born in the 40s, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Buffett was. I don't know.
Yes,
when
I
he
got
was.
Roy to bring up Buffett, mention his name before me.
But
It worked.
okay, Rory, I have to play the devil's advocate though. Is O'Leary wrong? Though, is he really wrong?
Well, if O'Leary is right, then what he's saying is that only probably about 3% of the population will ever be able to retire comfortably.
But isn't that kind of what we're seeing though, where people are not? I think that's an exaggeration, but
Yeah.
but it's not like.
Well, what do you need? Like, so I started to do a little bit of math, and if you're not, if you own your house, let's say,
Yeah.
right, and you're retired, how much money do you need each year after tax to live comfortably?
Right.
Right. I mean, you can do the math. You don't need 120 or 150,000 a year to live on.
Yeah. But one of the things that's happening, though, again, it's a little bit of devil's advocate, but it is like now, actually, they did get rid of the stress test, but for a while,
Really, Jerrod. Not really. It's still being used. The banks.
Okay.
It was voluntary, and the banks are like, nah, we're going to keep it.
For American viewers, because we have a lot of them, Canada had a stress test where they'd add on 2% onto the current interest rate, and that would be what you'd have to be able to get approved for. What that was doing is people were having to co-sign because you couldn't. So
Still are.
Yeah.
Well, even the average house price in Canada right now is about 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
right,
the down payment you need on that, what, 100 grand?
140 for 20% if you don't want to pay the insurance.
Yeah,
140. So that's a lot of coin to have in cash to have in your pocket.
We're in a skyrise, so the unit 3 above us or 4 above us just went up for over 20% more than what we paid for it 2 years ago.
Just 2 years ago.
Yeah, not even 3.
And then after you get that down payment, you have to do your property tax on it. You have to do your utilities on it and your maintenance and your upkeep on it.
So my point of that, Roy, don't have to get too far afield, is that now the boomer population is essentially being forced to double back. The bank already has the insurance on the mortgage from the government, and then they're being forced to, but there's a double backing happening because of things like the stress test. So again, I would leave $5 million in the bank, but it's not like $500,000 doesn't really do it.
Roy, the one thing that I thought was interesting with that number is, so like $5 million in 2000 would have lost man, I don't know if this is right, but 66.6% of the purchasing power by 2024. So, I mean, it probably is just because of like what we went through the last like 5 years alone. But like I put it into the inflation calculator, and yeah, it's wild. So like that number again,
I think he's wrong. I think it's bigger.
You're not just the devil's advocate. You're his personal lawyer now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Roy, do you think I'm way off though? Like, do you think there's? It does feel like you're not as secured with. I mean, and people are living longer too. That's the other.
okay. 5 million would be worth in 2000. 5 million would be equivalent to 8.3 million. So that's the difference now. That's the difference from 2000 to 2024.
Which was the concept of an indexed pension, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how many people get pensions these days. Certainly not as many as 40 years ago, that's for sure.
Was that because like everything dropped in like manufacturing and everything, and back then you used to get that pension with all those?
I think, back then, I remember my father worked for the, my father was a prison guard, worked at Kingston Penitentiary.
Yep.
And because that was a federal position, they had a good pension.
Yep.
You know, there were lots of, my father-in-law worked at Algoma Steel in Sault Ste. Marie, and they had a good pension plan.
Yeah.
But those, you as an employer, you can't afford a pension plan.
No.
They're crazy. It's crazy.
And I know a couple companies that got into a lot of trouble with an index pension plan, just not being able to afford it. Like
They make the contributions.
the investments did not keep up with the pension indexing, right? And if you have a bad, Rory, if you have a bad couple of years in what you invested that in your pension plan, now you can't afford to pay out, and a couple of pension plans have gone.
And that's the thing, like when you go into that, like those people, like say you're a big company, you're employing a lot of people, and every year you have people that potentially are retiring. Well, then you're going to have these bad down years, and all of a sudden you have these massive shortfalls.
Yeah, with the math just doesn't add up. It's I don't know if any company these days is able to afford an index pension other than government.
And I'll clarify another thing: the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, is a sham. It's a joke, because the money you put in over, if you work for 40 years, the money you put in, you're not getting anywhere near close to what you should be getting out of it. I
get a check every month.
Yeah, but it's not close. You contribute.
I'm trying to avoid these old jokes. The ageism is rampant on this show.
I have not said one thing this entire show. This is a new leaf for me.
Mm-hmm. Really showing that discipline.
And you brought up retirement, so
yeah, maybe we should change the subject.
And that word will be removed from the dictionary in 10, 20 years. Like it just won't.
We talk about small R retirement. In other words, you retire, but you're still doing some consulting, still doing some part-time work.
Yeah.
And I remember my father-in-law, when he retired, he drove taxi and drove a bus because he liked people. He liked to talk to people, and it wasn't the money. It was just have something to do and do something. A friend of mine who's was in the police in the bomb squad, so a high stress job. He retired and he works at I think Arona or Home Depot now.
People, a lot of you'll talk to.
So it's just likes to help out people. I
do like those guys at Home Depot. They know a lot and they can help out a lot.
Oh yeah, he's
actually great.
Yeah, and he can, if you've got a bomb that needs defusing, he can help you out there too. So
remember that guy? Do you ever see that video, Gary? Have you seen it where he would go up to people and he'd drop a backpack beside them, and then he'd run away?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I love that video. Or those guys.
It's so cruel, but I mean, it was funny. People were like jumping over bushes, and I mean, it just got crazy.
Do we have to clarify that some of them were definitely people they knew, and
It was definitely a stunt. Yeah.
It was staged, but
it
some of
was
them
still
weren't.
funny.
Some of them weren't.
You could kind of tell the ones that weren't, because
Just a
Is that like just for laughs or just for?
no,
What
just
was
a
that
YouTube
show?
dude.
It was a
No.
YouTube. It was a
There you
YouTube
go.
channel. Oh no!
Is it this one?
This is one of
No,
them.
this isn't the one. No, this isn't.
Oh, that's not it. No.
not it. I gotta find it. I will
It
find
was
it.
very funny.
Yeah.
He was so funny.
I
Yeah, if you
know.
bring it
I
up,
think I
yeah,
just
dude,
saw it.
it was it was hilarious. And then the music, and the music would go run, and then it was
Yeah.
yeah.
Great song. Great song.
Roy, again, this is nothing to do with age. It's just, but my topic was sleep.
Which I was also offended by.
Sleep?
Goodness.
Well, but it's not just like, it's actually a little more than just get enough sleep, which is the thing that everybody talks about. It's matching up your sleep with the job that you're doing. And I do think there's something legitimate to that, because when we started Crownsmen, Rory, we were like, we're going to be executives. And so rather than like do these crazy, we should have been doing like door knocking during the day, then doing the work at night, not trying to like build up a team right up. Oh, brother.
Was that from the video?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the video.
Yeah, well, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, geez. From some a tree. Oh my!
Oh, that would be so scary. Like that.
Yeah,
That one's
that's
definitely
so
staged.
staged. It's so
That's
staged. Yeah.
And that one. So many of them are. They were great.
But the concept's funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the elevator one. Yes.
Yeah.
Like running up the escalator.
Also staged.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
staged.
It's all staged.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I look at
Yeah.
these, I think these are all staged.
Yeah, they are.
What?
But anyway, it was fun. It was fun.
But anyway, this was top of mind right now because my eyes are still wide this morning because my wife decided that she wanted in the home a Mummy's Little Helper play gym.
What is that?
It's
What is
a
that?
playground
I
inside your home.
thought Dad was Mummy's little helper.
No, this is Mummy's Little Helper.
That's it.
By the way, I forgot to mention it. I think there's only 24 days shopping days left till Father's Day. Just a public service announcement for our viewers.
Oh, thanks. We like beer.
Whatever you gifted your wife, that's essentially what you'll be getting for Father's Day. Just FYI.
What does that mean?
That
Does that
means
mean I get-
whatever kind of gift you gave and you put thought into giving to your wife or mother of your child, that's essentially the same thing you'll receive. So if it was a great gift, good
So
for
I
you.
get gold jewelry?
There you go.
Oh,
Well,
We won't.
whatever's similar.
I don't think it's appropriate on the show to talk about those type of gifts. So
I don't think so either.
I get Safeway flowers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There you go.
rookies.
So anyway,
How is gold a rookie move? I don't understand.
So here's how I save money and create and get points. I have a card that says "Love you to Mars and back twice," and I give her 2 Mars bars. Genius.
Yeah, and she just goes, "Oh, that's so clever."
Because she loves Mars bars.
These beers are so weak.
Do you know what
God.
I noticed is
God.
that women just every year that you're with them, they just think you're dumber and dumber.
Exactly. I didn't hear what Jerrod said because Roy's trying to find it too. It's like, where'd it go? Where is it?
There's a hole in my
I know.
Poppy's beer stein here.
Does everybody mind running down to the liquor store just down there and getting a 12-pack of Budweiser?
Oh, gross.
Let's get into it.
Give me a pack of Marlboro Reds while you're.
My beer fridge is just down the stairs. And anyway,
Oh,
But yeah, so this stupid thing yesterday that I had to put, and I had a contract to finish that I needed to be finished last night, which I explained to my wife. She didn't care. So I spent 4 hours putting this. They send
Is
this
it
thing
in the house? Is it in your house?
It's
Very angry about this.
It's in a
in
house.
your house.
Yes.
But you don't have.
Yeah. To get to the window now, I have to crawl under a slide. It's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous.
Is it made for this? This is made for outside.
Made for indoors. It's made for people that have extra rooms. We are in a 2-bedroom.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I'm
this is not a therapy session. So, I built it with a great, fantastic attitude, and every now and then I would just drop a board on the hardwood so that the baby would wake up. But
excellent.
with a great attitude. I did it with a smile, though. Okay, so anyway, I didn't end up getting done till 2 a.m. writing the contract because I had spent 4 hours putting this thing together. That came not like mapped out properly. It just came they just pile it into a box. It was great.
Yippee!
And I saw a couple weeks ago a interview with Jeff Bezos, and it was just a clip, and he was talking about that if he sleeps, like he's very kind of militant about his 8 hours of sleep unless he's traveling and he can't. But if he sleeps 8 hours, then his job as a senior executive, or the job of a senior executive, is that you need to make a small amount of decisions really well. So if you make more decisions in a day because you work longer, and the quality of those decisions goes down, you might do 30% more decisions, but your quality drops however much. And so again, though, if you're like starting a business in the first few years and you hear that, and he even referenced that, he said, like Amazon, if you're a startup, it's different. He said, but Amazon's not a startup. Mm-hmm. He said, people will congratulate me on my quarterly results. That was planned. Those results were planned out 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Again, different when Amazon was first starting, right? You hear stories about like Google, Rory, you've talked about like their accounting was just a disaster when they went public. Like,
oh yeah, they basically, he famously said like, well, once we've made enough money, the accountants can fix it all. And basically for a startup, it's kind of like just try and get stuff sold.
Yeah.
How do you sell something? How do you build the infrastructure to sell stuff?
Yeah. And I mean, of course you could argue that, and that but it does, there is a truth to it to understand.
Yeah.
And I've definitely been guilty of it, where you kind of confuse what stage you're at. Like even now, I do need more sleep because I am making, Rory, you and I make less decisions than we used to 5 years ago. We probably make half the decisions, or a quarter.
Yeah.
In 5 years, we might make a quarter of the decisions we're making now on a daily basis.
Yeah.
There was a time you want to sleep, you want to get your 8 hours of sleep, and you want to go to the gym for 2 hours a day, you're going to lose your business. Like, it's not going to work. But then it gets to a point where it's the reverse, where you then have to be sharp, you have to have sleep, you have to be in shape, because all those things, if you're not, now your decisions go down. I thought it was quite interesting of kind of knowing the difference, or kind of assessing that for yourself. And I'd be interested to hear what both of you think about that.
I feel attacked again just because obviously
I nodded off for a minute there.
with right now with the sleep regression with children, it's like definitely would love that sleep more so. But I do agree. I remember like pounding out meetings at like 2 a.m. and like basically just meeting with everybody under the sun. Doesn't matter where they are, who they are. And even now, I'm like, well, I'm not doing that to compromise an entire day where I've got too many things to like, not decisions. It's just like the management of if you're going to do receivables one day, you have to go through that, and there's the task of going through those and reaching out. And people like cranky old men drinking beer, of course, you have to keep reaching out over and over and over again. You don't want your sleep affecting that. And then you've got but then there's the sales part of it. There's the meetings. But yeah, so it definitely changes a lot.
And even like this new strategy we have, we're going to a location, and then we're actually having group planning sessions. So we invite multiple companies to come on a group, almost like a webinar.
Exactly.
Well, all of a sudden that allows us to, but that takes planning and decision. You can't be half asleep doing that, or you'll screw it up and you won't sell. You'll end up not only getting more yes, or you won't even get more yeses, you'll get more no's because it doesn't get delivered right. So it just, the consequences of not being sharp just become greater and greater. Whereas when we were starting, kind of what you're saying, Rory, like we just need to do more stuff. Like, I don't think we did enough the first few years. I don't think we did enough stuff.
No, when we first started, looking back, it's like, it should have just been like a few people. Yeah. And like you said, you and I go pound the doors, figure out what somebody potentially wants. But we had this idea that, and let's not throw, like, we had read Jack Welch. We had this idea of like concepts, but in reality, like, why are you going out? And if you're just basically doing consulting to start, why are you trying to hire on these positions that actually don't exist?
Yeah, which is what Roy said to us a few episodes ago. So, Roy, now you get to tell us that you were right.
Roy,
do you get enough sleep, though?
What is yours? Yeah. What at the height of cementation, though? What was your sleep?
Yeah, when we started, I don't know how much sleep I got, but it wasn't much.
Right.
But the thing, as an entrepreneur, when you start out, you do everything, right? And I think it's an important phase because that's when you begin to understand all the aspects of the business. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at HR or good at accounting, but you're involved in all of it or estimating or whatever your business does. But you have to be involved in all of it because, sometimes there's only one of you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when people start out, but if your business grows, which you hope it does, you get to a point where you're going to have to delegate. And that's when you have to get smart about micromanaging. Everyone goes through that phase where, I got to delegate, but I'm going to be looking over their shoulder because I'm the only one that knows how to do it. And you quickly realize if you hire the right people, they can actually do it better than you can.
Yeah.
If you're looking after HR and, you have no experience, you have no idea what you're doing, it's an eye-opener when you hire someone who actually does know what they're doing. So I think there's phases you go through. We talk about lack of sleep. The scariest career with regard to lack of sleep is a physician. And when you see what some of the interns go through in terms of on-call, in terms of sleeping at the hospital, things like that, and that happens when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a point where, you have to delegate properly. You have to, get the sleep you need so you're not sick. Simple as that.
Well, it's funny you bring up surgeons because my wife's friend is a brain surgeon. Not my friend. He doesn't want to be my friend. I've tried. Yeah. But
has he seen the show? What's he think of the show?
He's just talked to me. But
he was forced.
I literally feel like you can clearly tell that there is a gap. Like it's just like, no, we're not really the same thing, are we, my friend?
Well, my son's a surgeon. My son's a bariatric surgeon.
You think he'd be my friend?
What? I think he knows him.
Let's be honest.
A very small
the
community of
because Jerrod wanted to find friends.
This is what this show is all about.
Yeah, my son doesn't watch the show either, just so you know.
Oh, right.
He doesn't want to be your friend. Sorry.
Okay, well, we can get his. You can give me his number offline. I'll give him a call. We'll see how things go. But he takes naps throughout every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like because he's doing brain surgery. Like he cannot.
Are these naps planned?
What's that? I think so. Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Well, it's how I'm sure some of them aren't If he's a surgeon, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a big.
Well, no, there's emergency ones.
Yeah,
it's
so I'm sure
it's
there's-
crazy. I mean, but Roy, did you? I am curious though. Did you have a pivot point though where you realized like, okay, I've not just the micromanaging, but like even in the off hours, like you needed to be sharper as opposed to that sort of just like I got to work 24 hours and get everything done.
I don't know if it was so much be sharper, but the company had grown to such an extent that I just couldn't physically do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember looking back, our overhead was about 5%. And, we were quite proud of that. But
Overhead 5%. What is that in referencing?
so based on our revenue as a company, 5% of that revenue was head office.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Okay. And what we found when I started to hire people and the overhead increased to, let's say, 7%, our profitability was actually better.
Yeah.
So it's counterintuitive. Like, I think a lot of people think that we want to keep the costs as low as possible to make more money, but you have to get the right balance, because if you're not servicing your clients and if you're not doing the job well, you're not going to get that next job. You're not going to grow. And eventually your overhead is going to grow because your volume's going down. So there came a point where, we were running at 5% overhead, but everyone was burnt out and we weren't doing a good job.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to plan for that too. You have to look ahead and say, what type of volume do we anticipate? It's hard to catch up, So once you get some momentum, look ahead. It's not bad to have an extra one or two people or a little bit extra overhead, anticipating growth.
That's what
If
Jerrod and I've
things
always
go south,
found.
you got to deal with that. But
Yep. Jerrod and I've never, like, recently, like, now that we're getting into like more of a growth stage, it's never been like when I remember like last year I was like, I got to basically unmicromanage all these things that I was like just and it's happening again, but at that point it was like ridiculous. And so you put in like the right management meetings, you structure things properly, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I have a little bit of I don't have time to breathe, but I have time to like focus in on like certain aspects of the business for segments of time.
The way I think of it is sometimes you almost have to be lazy, but it actually is a form of being lazy to not build the team properly. Because you're like, oh, I'll just do this. I'll just do that. It's a lot more work to go hire the right person, fire the wrong person, figure out the structure that your company should actually operate within. That takes a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So
But I'll
pull
a Jerrod here and be the devil's advocate, because one thing you're doing as a leader is you're setting an example for your people. And maybe that example is working hard. Maybe that example is working smart. I don't know what that means, but the lazy part, maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe it's working efficiently, maybe whatever the word is, but you've always got to recognize that when you're leading an organization, people are watching you, and you're always setting an example, and you're always under the microscope.
Yeah. I think I mean, it's probably maybe the worst word to use for it, but I think what I'm referencing is when you think, oh, I can just do that. It's like, no, but that is not, at a certain point, that's not your job anymore. Your responsibility is to set up the infrastructure so that your team can do it. Yeah. And you're not working harder. You're actually just taking the easy route. So it is actually a form of laziness. At some point, when you're starting out and there's two people, you got to sweep the floors. You got to do everything. But at a certain point now, you're just basically procrastinating on the real work that you need to do, by the real work being the work that you're paid to do, not stealing other people's work. So that's kind of what I'm referencing there. And I'm just lazy sometimes, but whatever.
Oh yeah, like one thing is Jerrod, burn your sloth, mascot. The other thing too is the like.
I thought it was a beaver.
Oh right, no, that's Marty. The other thing too is like it allows you to focus on like things that'll expand like Is there other organizations that you can partner with? Things like that. That's going to lead to so much more, which is going to then in turn lead to a whole bunch more people that you bring on as that growth happens. So,
and Rory knows all about that because I pick his brain all the time trying to figure out how we're going to expand. And thank you for that, Rory, in all seriousness. That is very much appreciated. Rory, there's a lot of things I'm not happy about today.
What is this? Roy, let's talk about it.
What did you rate it? What did you...
Have you drank this before, Roy?
I have not.
I think I've actually drank this before.
Probably at my house. Whoops.
Well, you guys tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think.
Oh, right. We have to do it that way. Jerrod, you go ahead. I want to hear your.
Gowdy just said
feedback.
she should have brought tequila. You should have brought. Actually, I have some tequila back there.
Oh, tequila after party.
There's some decent stuff too,
Boo.
actually. Okay, it's good to drink.
Because it tastes like water.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Because it tastes like water.
But okay, so if I was rating it in flavor, I'd probably say it's a 16. But I'm taking 2 points off.
14 it is.
13 and a half because it's. Oh yeah, 2 points off. Wow, tired. See, this is what happens. 14.
Hey Roy, should a Pilsner IPA
Get more sleep.
Should an IPA normally be like 6-7%?
Yeah. Typically an IPA, you see it's 6.5, and if you get into a double, it's 7.5 or 8.5, and then a triple or imperial, it gets up to 10 or 12.
Interesting is, don't want to cover my face. That'd be just terrible. What is interesting is, like Jerrod's saying, it's like, you can have it in the pool fishing.
I didn't say
it
fishing.
tastes like water. And I would never go buy a case of this because it's just like, there's not really a punch. Like, we've had some IPAs that have a punch.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you've gotten me into IPAs. I like them now.
Yeah,
now you give us this.
By the way, I tried the Pine Tree on the weekend. I wanted to save this for the show. Oh man,
Good.
that was a punchy one. I would not have that as a shelf stocker or fridge stocker. Was not impressed. Was not happy about
Didn't
it.
we love it on the show?
You guys did. Yeah, Jerrod and Roy did.
Oh.
I did not like it playing chess. Not good. Maybe it was the chess. But this one I would definitely I'd go in the same though, Jerrod. I'd go 13.
Nice.
Just because the flavors, it's easy to drink. It's too easy to drink.
Chick beer
Yeah.
You can't say that. Only I can say that.
is what Gowdy said.
Now I'm offended.
I wasn't done my sentence yet.
I'm offended too, and I'm not even a chick.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a
But you
minute.
can if you want to be.
If you want to
shut
be.
up, Rory.
I can be whatever I want to be, I guess.
Now I'm even more
I
offended.
put my mind to it.
You might need more than your mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a he, him last time I looked.
Have you updated your bio though? I'm checking right now. Hold on.
I like that look joke. That was a good little subtle joke. I like it.
So this is exactly what it says it is. You know, it's a session IPA. It's light. It's not my thing. You know, I do like an
Love
IPA.
that. It's not my thing.
You know, I mean, if I was no, but
Wow, you cut off at the wrong time. It sounded way worse than chick.
it's not bad, but it's not. You know, I think I'm aligned with you guys on it. I probably have a 12 or 13 on it.
12.
It is what it says it is, but it's just not enough.
Wow, you are in a cranky
And-
mood today.
Are you gonna go
And
12?
to expand on that a bit, there are some session IPAs that have a lot of flavor to them. So if you compare to some other ones, this one's a little light on the flavor end, and there's no, you know, despite the IBU, there's no bitters or hoppiness at all in this. So maybe a 13. I'm thinking.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Well,
That's a smash too. Do we mention who brewed this?
this is Seamworks.
This is Steamworks.
But they make some great
Yeah,
beers.
we've had some of their. We've really enjoyed some of their beers.
Oh yeah, no, I love Steamworks, but not this. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Gowdy, thank you. Devin, thank you. To everybody watching while you're supposed to be working, we appreciate it. And
so much.
We will see you on the next episode of the Crownsmen Show with proper beer.
Don't forget Father's Day.
Real beer.
Don't forget my presents, everyone.
There you go. For
Well,
Father's Day. Provide real
Grandfather's
beer.
Day.
Real beer.
Grandfather's Day.
Okay, see you on the next episode.
I am going to send Roy some beer.